fairy tale family. Then if only found it wasn't really a fairy tale background, but my family was always together, you know. But as growing up, that was my perception, you know. And my father worked at Ford. My mother helped build Providence Hospital. She was an administrator, worked her way up from the laundry room. And I always had this art talent, so she would always give me little jobs at the hospital to do posters at the hospital and that kind of thing. Well, I got a full scholarship to the Columbus College of Art and Design because of Mr. Neuer, who left Chazzs Tech to open with Crockett Vocational School when they started vocational schools. That saved my butt because Southwestern didn't have any kind of art programs. And the bottom line is I was able to go to the Columbus College of Art and Design. I had a letter of intention. I took it to my mom's. She said, with all her knowledge and education, she said, son, that's great, but what do you plan to do for a living? So, speeding up time, that sent a signal in my head right away and made me even more determined because I seen my friends getting scholarships to bounce basketballs, throw footballs. And I said, you mean you can't get a kid a scholarship to go do art and to be a designer? So I wanted to change that. And my thing was education in the community. So just by virtue of putting things out in the universe, I was able to study at the school, leave there and paint commercial billboards. I painted commercial billboards for about 10 years. I painted signs over 150 feet in the air, some signs over 450 feet long or 50 feet high. And I'm talking about in record amounts of time because it was commercial. They don't care about your artistic whims or you got a headache. So I was trained in commercial art, how to make money in art. And I was actually envisioning myself being what y'all are, cutting the checks to the community. Because that was my vision, to be the celebrity artist and be able to give back. Come back to the hood, teach kids that you can have a career in art. Because I know the only thing they really respect, at that time that was my perception, is celebrity. Because they worship the basketball player, they worship the comedians, you know. So my basic mission was to, when I moved back to Detroit, I went out to California for a number of years to do matte paintings for movie sets. Ended up doing a lot of portraits of celebrities and things. Came back to Detroit for family reasons. I had a daughter, and my mother and I, it didn't work out. And I said it, when I went out to California, I didn't want to be away from her for too long. Anyway, came back, and I just, Detroit at the time was just like, oh my God, I've been in California. I've been in really nice places for a long time, and I've been going for 14 years. It was depressing to me. So I said, instead of crying, what can I do to make a difference? I said, well, I'm an artist. And I started thinking about Diego Revere's mission. Well, he started a revolution by bringing the art to the people. The art shouldn't be locked up in museums and galleries. So that's when I started painting murals. I was painting bathrooms and houses. Again, put it out there in the universe, got a call. John George, they were in a mural project. The governor was coming down. They were in a jam. The muralists didn't finish. They weren't happy, blah, blah, blah. I was ready. My truck, I always keep full of paint. I was over there right away. He was amazed. I stayed out there all night. Finally, Friday, he came with a little money because he was so impressed with what I did and paid me, and I still stayed out there all night. So one thing led to another. 2 weeks later, I gave him a proposal that I've been walking around with for 4 years because I had a proposal to do a community mural project, but nobody, would back it. I gave it to him. He called me back 2 weeks later and said, look, this is great. You're serious about this. He said, I got walls and I got paint. I don't have money, but I can get resources. I said, that's all I need. Because once I knew people start seeing the art because I know what I can do commercially and my level of talent. And that just spawned one thing. The building owner had a building that was vacant. People kept breaking in, stealing stuff. He just wanted us to put a logo on the wall to make it look as if somebody was in there. And as soon as we took the tour, I knew this was supposed to be my home. I mean, immediately. I was elbowing John, and the guy said, well, the place has been on the market for 10 years. We haven't had one lead. I said, this is it. So I knew I had people that could fix things, electricians, I'm a plumber, I'm a jackleg mechanic, I grew up, working with my hands, and it turned into the Artist Village. It was supposed to be my original, just a studio, but now it's a community center. Because I'm a community person. I love my people. Murals, art have a way of changing people's lives. My thing was, how do we expect kids not to break the windows or put graffiti on the walls if as adults, we don't take responsibilities for those properties? What I loved about what Blightbusters was doing, when the drug dealers left, he would go out, board up the house, cut the grass. Made sense to me. You don't have to confront them. You don't have to go out there picketing them. Just shut them down. So now, by bringing a beautification to the neighborhood, people are taking pride. There's less trash on the street. Inside of that, I always loved teaching. So my goal was twofold. I wanted to teach murals, teach to paint, teach art, and paint murals. I want people to take pride in their community. If we expect them to live in the community, we want them to be safe, we want them to be able to take pride in the community. First was the children, and then the adults will follow. So I've been teaching for the College for Creative Studies for 8 years. I teach in their Community Arts Partnership Program. Again, more synergy. About the time I decided to do this, Mike Brazil from Chicago to start the CAP program. I was in the pilot program. I was one of his guinea pigs. So we've developed a relationship over the years. It's just been great because he gets what I'm doing, and he's been getting me a lot of support. And his thing was artists need to be paid because too much in communities, we get people want us to do all kind of graphics and things, but they want to give us $50. You know, you pay the plumber, you don't even question it. And the plumber's not playing because he knows you need your water. The thing is, we think we don't need our art. Art is everything. Once kids understand the tablecloth was designed by an artist, the tile on the floor, the microwave, my toothbrush, it was like, wow, there must be a lot of jobs for artists. So you won't be a starving artist. So if they perceive a starving artist, then who wants to have that career? So my dynamic was to change that in their minds. So right now we do, I've been teaching with the CAP program. So mainly during the fall, I go out to other schools. In the summertime, I do my own summer program. I've been doing it for 5 years. And I'm really almost just the opposite. I mean, I've been really doing this on the underground. I mean, with the support from Black Busters, has been mainly materials. A lot of money I raise is from commercial work that I do or teaching to support myself. It's been 5 years, and I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere, and the impact is crazy because, again, I'm on the ground level. I have students now, about 6 of them, that come in on a weekly basis. The age group between 16 and 25 is getting left out. We got a lot of young men, like you said, they have nowhere to go. So now they know they can come to the Artist Village, but we got a program. We recently started a chess club. When they come, you have to work because the place is so nice, they want to come and hang out. I found a screen as long as this wall in the garbage. So I have a giant screen, so they see all the stuff. I have couches and things, but I don't even sit on them. I told them they're props. But the mission is really to give them an environment that they feel comfortable in, and then I can get my message to them. And now I start developing programs where we can help them develop as leaders. Again, this is my 5th year. I do an LTI with University Prep. I have students that come over there two times a week, Tuesday and Thursday. This is my 2nd year with that. My vision is to take public art in Detroit to a whole nother level. We have the potential here to do that. I've laid a foundation as such that I know I have the energy, I have the strength, and I have the vision, I have the people that believe in it. But it's hard to keep people if they're not making money. And especially if they mortgages, you know, I got a lot of people that volunteer, they can't even pay the rent. You know, so, and they get food stamps and everything else. But the first thing to keep people in Detroit, this happened in Old Redford. I was actually carjacked in that area in 2000. Let's see, 99. I didn't even know anything about Old Redford. I was carjacked in that area before I even had any idea that I was going to be working there. And I almost lost my life. So for me to be back in that neighborhood is really profound. Excuse me. When we first, I mean, you wouldn't even want to approach the building. I mean, I can relate to you. This is serious. This is real serious. And I had a young man I was working with for a whole year. And he decided the materialism. He didn't have enough material plenty, so he wanted to go sip drugs. Not to me out of the house. I bought him clothes. I kept him every day for a year. And he was doing good. But he needed more material shit. Excuse me, I'm sorry. This is tearing me apart. And, you know, to see the stuff that's going on in this country right now, and all the hypocrisy, you know, we got to do something. Because we're sitting on a powder keg. I mean, y'all don't really understand. This is serious. I mean, we hear it every day. And we witness it. I mean, you see it on Fox too, but it's no joke. So I'm making a difference. And it works. And, you know, no matter what, money and no money, we're going to keep doing this. But, you know, I have a vision. I'm putting together an organization of people, because my thing right now is organization. You know, I'm an artist. I'm not a paper pusher. You know, I went to college. I was able to make it through college by the grace of God. I'm pretty good at writing business plans and doing that kind of thing, and I've just drafted up some paperwork. I don't own the property. I mean, unfortunately, by the grace of God, the building owner loves what we're doing because the place was nothing there. And we did everything we said we was going to do. We brought it to a livable, I mean, the place wasn't even, we weren't even supposed to be there. You know, nevertheless, teaching classes, but now we have it up to code, it's safe, and nothing has ever happened. So I understand how everything works, but it's a matter of putting together a team. And I'm seeing the same thing in this program as I'm seeing in many other programs. It's going to take small villages, small communities to work together. It's not going to be a bigger entity to come in and solve a thing for a group of millions of people. I mean, the church wasn't ever supposed to be 5,000 members. The church was supposed to be a small, because that's the only way you can deal with that many issues. I mean, the issues out there, I'm not a psychologist or a sociologist. I mean, I have people coming in with busted heads. They got put out of their house every day. And I'm like, excuse me, is this, I mean, I didn't ask for all this, but I did. So I deal with it. So basically, we all need each other. And so however we got to make it happen, let's make it happen. I'm here. I just thank y'all for your time. And, you know, what else can I say? I guess I put it all on the line. But, you know, it's just very important that we just move forward. And, you know, we've been meeting now, I think, with you guys for 3 years. I've been just trying to survive until we decide what we're going to do. But I'm ready. I got 5 major projects laid out that I'm putting on paper for public art projects that I know will be very dynamic. We just started the Saturday program, thanks to Skillman with Mike Brzee. I have 12 or 15 of the most dynamic kids that come to the Artist Village every Saturday now for the next 23 weeks. That I know this is a team that I'm going to be able to take out and really do some damage to set an example of how we can. I want to form armies of artists to transform. The graffiti artists are taking over Grand River. I often just drive around and see how fast they're going to take over. The new freeways they're all fixing, as soon as those construction people leave, they're tagging them. So I don't know whether we got to get with MDOT, but we got to take control of the city. I'm willing to do what I can for the young people that are artistically inclined, and also this is a talent that I'm recognizing on the street level. Now, I have one kid, Trevor, to tell you a success story. I told you a horror story. I'm going to tell you a success story. Trevor Coates was 15 when he came to me. I told him, I challenge all the kids when you first come, that's a nice drawing, but bring me back 100 of them. Huh? And I'm serious. He came back with 200. Shut me down. So, Trevor has been working with me for a number of years. He went to Redford. They closed Redford down. Trevor, the first year in my summer program, we took him to the College for Creative Studies for portfolio review for potential college students. He was offered 4 scholarships at 15. He chose the Chicago Art Institute. He went to the Chicago Art Institute last summer for the summer internship program and came out, graduated at the top of his class. And he was the only black kid in the program. And it was phenomenal. And he experienced some racism when he was there. The kids put cotton balls under his door one night. He would call me almost every night telling me different stories, but he survived it. He didn't get bitter, and that's what I'm going to tell him. Don't matter, that's their problem. And he survived it. So there are some success stories. But the bottom line is, if we don't do something, these children are going to fall through the cracks. And you're going to see them on Fox 2, and you're going to wonder why. Well, because when they were crying out in the wilderness, nobody was listening. And it's real simple. What do our neighborhoods need? We need safe streets so they can get back and forth to where they're going. We need decent housing. We don't need mansions. We need good, clean programs and a variety of programs. Basketball, boxing, intellectual programs, chess clubs, art clubs. So we just recently started a chess club because there's a group of men between 16 and 25 that are getting left out. Nobody wants to deal with them. And I see why, a lot of them. I mean, you're a big old man. You don't have enough sense to understand you're supposed to flush the toilet, you know. I mean, I deal with some stuff and I don't hold them up. I tell them just like my mother told me. And I said, if my mother would accept, not going to accept it, I'm not going to accept it. Because I have an open door policy. They can come in and use the refrigerator, eat. I put out big baskets of food that's gone in the afternoon. But that's okay. For me, that's what it's all about. And also somebody asked, well, how do you keep kids in your program? I said, well, we feed them. In the summer program, we cook full breakfasts. I mean, when they come to our program, it's not just, no, you're not going to the store to get sugary drinks. I come out in the morning because the party store's right here and the party store's right here. I come out in the morning, 8 o'clock, I always open my door, sweep the sidewalk, do whatever, just check to see what happened during the night. Make sure the places ain't burned down. And I see kids coming down 8:30 in the morning. They got those little drinks and some hot Cheetos at 8 o'clock in the morning. Get your butt in here and get some of these hot eggs. And then after that, I got it, And so, that's our mission. That's what I hear you. Our missions are basically the same. I'm just using art. I want to expand my educational capacity. I love to teach. They respond to my energy. And, ultimately, I would like to bring in more. And I do. I have teachers now that volunteer. I have Mr. Ezell, who actually worked for the city as a city inspector. And when we were looking at the building, he was actually coming to inspect the building. And he actually wrote, because the one studio I'm in, they were going to condemn it. And so he wrote in the note back to the supervisor, hold off, they're going to do something with it. But right after that, he got laid off. So come to find out, he used to do the lighting systems for the city in AutoCAD. So he teaches young people AutoCAD. So now we got young people that know AutoCAD and 3D design at 14 and 15 years old. So that's basically the mission, and thank you.
Before you okay.
Last year in Grand River, when you go in that area, you'll start seeing color. You'll start seeing some of the murals. And just understand, people, those murals aren't even a small example of really what I'm capable of doing. Because you have to understand, I'm painting these murals. The Philadelphia mural project, some of you are probably familiar with. Okay. I'm trying to think. Jane Golden started that project in 1988 out of Trouble Ricard. I use that program as a model of change. So if anybody goes and look up their project, that's basically what I use as a model. Well, you guys want. In fact, I'll be seeing more of y'all like, you too, you know. So that's basically what I use as a model from the very beginning, and I started out. So looking at that program, you'll see exactly where I want to go as I get organized. So, any more questions? Thank you. Thank you very much.